Mata. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Yarn with B. I'm super duper excited about today's guest. Well, actually, I'm super duper excited about every guest that comes on Yarn with B because they are incredible, inspirational people that are just, as it says, living life on their terms. So today I have Violet Buckskin, and she is incredible. Oh my gosh, she's an artist. She's an entrepreneur. She's a cultural consultant, a networker, a mentor of 6 beautiful women, and creating change. Her company, Winder Creations, is a name that you're going to start to know about because Violet and Winder Creations are doing incredible work in our First Nations communities and beyond. So without me yarning anymore, I want to bring Violet to Let's Have a Yarn. So welcome, Violet Buckskin.
Hi, Bianca.
Hey, sis, how you going?
Yeah, good.
Oh, that's deadly. So thank you for coming today. It's interesting. You know, we're talking about living life on your terms. And so often we're told that life needs to look a certain way, or as First Nations women, or as women, or as whatever, needs to look a certain way. You know, what does living life on your terms mean for you?
For me, it's getting up. It's getting up every day and doing what I love. To make sure I get up, smile, and that I'm not going to put 10 hats on as a government worker and be stripped of who I am. Every day I wake up to be who I am and what I'm meant to do, and that's, you know, working with my community, creating things that are better and work better for our community, and getting them put in and making others pay for that. So, you know, that's the drive behind me. But at the same time, waking up on my terms, I see country, you know, I see multiple countries in a week. I'm in Adelaide, I'm in the Yorks, I'm in the mid-north. My work takes me anywhere, because I don't restrict myself to, you know, just be in one patch, because I am many.
Yeah, and you're thinking outside the box and actually just doing it your way. That's deadly.
Well, I find that, you know, with my background and my networks, you know, through family, through work, it is statewide and vast, and being able to pick up a sister girl, you know, that I've known 20 years ago, and she's doing the same type of work in her region, and then network and strengthen each other within that network, you know. So getting up every day is I'm helping a sister, I'm helping my nieces and nephews. I've got that many now extended across the state, because I want them to know their culture. I want them to know their culture the right way, and all I'm doing is giving what I've learned on my journey, and through this is just creating wealth up individual people to get up and stand up. So every day it's just being me, just want to help.
Yeah. And changing stereotypes. You know, every step of the way, what you're doing is creating a different conversation, that you can be strong in culture and be an entrepreneur and support community and charge your worth all at the same time. I mean, that's deadly.
I know you make me sound really deadly, because I don't stop and look back and see what I've done. So I just keep running forward. So someone said to me, "Oh, look back, Violet," and I said, "Oh," when I look back, I started getting scared. I'm thinking, "Can I handle this?" But it is just the love of it, the love of just telling a sister, you know, you could do this. You know, what you have, you know, our sister girl grew up in Adelaide don't have. Just giving that little bit of knowledge over strengthens us and brings us up together. And we believe that we're a bunch of women that got a lot of knowledge to share, and we know we can bring each other up together. So we're all up to the same knowledge base. we don't sit here and say, nah, this is my knowledge. We don't hold it. It's not our culture to hold knowledge. And sharing culture, when I say sharing culture, is around the story, the dreaming, and understanding the artwork, because in the process of doing your artwork, you got to know your story and your country. And I believe just giving that knowledge and sharing and taking women back on country and actually seeing those stories, visually while on country, it's empowering thing. And it just triggers a lot of women to step up and go, you know what, I'm going to keep following, I'm going to keep researching who I am, what my lineage is. And that's the power of just doing this every day. And I didn't realize it was going in every direction and not just art. So hence why Winder's expanded so much.
Yeah, tell us about Winder Creations. How did it come about? Because I mean, people wouldn't know. I didn't say in the intro is you actually illustrated the first picture or artwork and discussion about healing and elders in my children's book, and which is super cool. But yeah, where did Winder Creations come from, and where do you see Winder Creations going in the future?
Well, where it came from it comes from me, just being me. I mean, I was at the point, where I've grown up in AX, where you just grown up to be this government worker, and you go into to fight changes from the bottom up, and every year, you're getting bigger, you're getting up to ASO 4, ASO 5, and you think you're doing the right thing by community. You get to the 6, 7 levels, and you're in the national team. And this year, I think was 2020, where it took its toll on me, and I knew I was losing me of all of me, too many hats. I decided that was it. I walked out and quit, and I was losing me. I was going through my own personal, I had to change, and a drastic change happened. I went home to country in Port Victoria on the York Peninsula, right near my community, Pt Pearce. And 3 months later, I was commissioned to do 4 big pieces, and I started Winder, and then I started doing workshops across the Yorks around language and re-signing buildings in a small school in Kaurna, which I brought my mother in on. Oh, you want to do this project? And then she goes, yeah, all right. Then she knew the language and I knew the artwork, so we did it a team. And then I sat back and I thought, maybe I can offer this. Then I thought, no, actually I can offer this. And being that government worker, I come out with skills around program development, implementing statewide programs to suit the needs of communities, especially cultural needs, because we're all different across board. So that kind of skill set came in, and I started thinking outside the square. And then I decided, yeah, all right, we're going to launch a lot of programs. I started the mural program, which we teach the cultural dreaming stories over process, and they get to know the trade of creating a mural. So, we've got kids in school, year 7s going to year 8, that they've learned a mural process, so they can go in and they could teach another child. So it's cultural teachings in new ways, really, because I don't see a program or a mural going ahead if I can't teach them that process, giving them the skills and my skills transferring to them. So a lot of it started from art, and the expansion into, being a consultant was being asked to develop a program, a project around birthing on country, which we did. We trained the midwives and the nurses on the Mid-North and the Yorks, and that was last year, and that opened my eyes, because the way I packaged that was, it was delivered from elders. We're forced to sit in training packages that we're forced to sit in and listen, and what I developed was a way of, you've got to learn our way, and deep listening was a big part of it, and it challenged a lot of non-Indigenous women in that space, just to understand storytelling is key to understanding our people. And if you can't sit and listen for 10 minutes, what are you doing? It's just hearing. It takes our mob a story to get that, what we need from them. And if you can't, active, it's research as well. When we do the qualitative, we just need stories, and we can pick that. We can see their where the history line, where they stood. So putting elders in that position to run along the timeline of that is key to getting them to feel empathy for that time, because people tend to forget history is not a long time ago. It's these old people sitting in the room were released in 68 out of the community and were allowed to leave. So, they're telling their story of how they left the community and how they had to start their generational wealth from that point. I mean, come on, that's 50 years ago. You got to look at it, So we're here now, and that's the pull from my business, is that we can make generational wealth now. And we've learned the stories because we've been free for this one generation from them, that I'm reteaching my culture back to my family, well, my parents, but although they're initiated people, but they still have that gap. So we talk about stolen generation, but there's a whole generation of stolen culture that they've been, put in concentration camp. They called missions. They were denied to learn. So being able to be that next generation, I was able to go travel. So, I've lived in Leigh Creek, spoke Adelaide before, other lingo, 11 primary schools, 3 high schools, you name it. I was in Yellowton, I was in the APY. So I travelled a lot. So I'm bringing that knowledge of travel and, learning, because I'm not going to be this ignorant kid cruising along thinking I'm a gunya from Adelaide. No, we were immersed in the culture, and we through process and stuff, you learn and you just bring it back, because we've got a broken system down here that really needs to reconnect again. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I talk a
No,
lot.
don't. No apologies. You had so much gold in what you just said there. Teaching culture in different ways.
Yeah.
Learning to listen. You mentioned deep listening.
Yes.
In Buddy Meyer, that's Ngadjuri, listening, thinking, feeling strongly. So you mentioned that. You mentioned the part about, when your spirit just starts to get squashed in government. I mean, I worked for Commonwealth government for 21 years, and there was this absolute freedom. When I finally left, I was like, yes, I could do all this stuff. I could do it my way and all this kind of thing, which is brilliant, because our communities need more. And I love you bringing people up with you, incorporating language, bringing your mum, and even know that they're, that you are, okay, probably the biggest part is you being a cultural being in a modern time frame. So you don't have to be one or the other. You can actually be both. You can be a highly skilled, incredibly successful entrepreneur while being heavily grounded in culture and language. That's brilliant.
It's the way we should be. Proud.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. So I want to talk about the people you're mentoring, because this is the part, this is that reciprocity, this is that giving back, that ngalami yugaja, that you're bringing people up with you.
Yeah.
So talk to me about or to everybody, what that's like, and what goal do you see in each of those people that you're supporting and mentoring?
Oh, I get really happy when I talk about, I say my young sisters, my nieces, they respect both sides. I'd like to tell a story about one of my young ones. He's came from homelessness, youth hopelessness. I met her in a program, and she asked me and said, "Can I come and work with you?" And I said, "Of course you can. If you feel like you." "Oh, I'm not confident. I'm not, I'm ashamed. I'm never been home. I never live on country. I've been in Adelaide for too many, and I said, "That's fine. Who are you?" "I know who I am. I'm Narungga. I'm Ngadjuri," and I'm like, yeah, and you just want to know more, and you want to know. So just giving, just my knowledge and little bits, and just having her alongside me. And this is, I speak about her very highly, because she can now speak for herself and speak publicly. And I got a young woman who was broken in the system. He was kicked out into the world, left for dead, on NDIS, has multiple issues. I just wanted a bit more. So I gave what I do is I wing them and I'll give them more, and you got to test them. You can't get when you're in this sort of thing, you test them. But I've found someone so determined to do and learn more about their culture, and through her, she's now ripple effect of others to come in and start. But when I say I talk about this one, I'll say her name, Nakara, is that she leads my beading and my key workshops. She speaks publicly now, and she now can transfer knowledge to other young ones. So what she broke was the system of cycle where the drug and alcohol and the nightclub thing. She's that age. She prefers not to socially outdo that way, and decided that she's going to invest more. So through this, she's now leading, and now will come on window as one of my leads for the workshops, and she will then mentor down. Through Nakara, she now has her own business being Nakara, the artist, and through me learning my art and transferring, she's now going to be running the Southern, so Meadows Kindergarten will be one of her first real jobs outside on her own. So I'm strengthening her enough that she's confident to run her own art projects outside of me, because I don't feel that we should be trapping people under a corporation. So okay, I'd rather counter contract them in and build their businesses. So they, I'm not going to be here forever, but they can do this forever. They're a lot younger than me, and my stuff is moving. I can see that. So to me, it's coming through and actually strengthening them in their own individuals businesses, but individual selves until they're ready. They'll ride with me, and I've got three new ones come in over the break, and they're going to ride with me and strengthen the mural programs. And that team will then run the murals, which I find is the counter mentoring, because we get the high schools and we've got young women going in. We've got young women in high school, young males. Hopefully the males will come more this year, but we're really pushing the women's side of business, especially with culture, because we find that gap here in Adelaide big, and not many women up in culture stepping up. So a couple of also said they're willing to take on the welcomes if people are asking for that, but we're not really targeting that area also. So to the mentoring side, she's one of my biggest talk, because you could ask someone within a year that's met her and could see her now. Actually, they say that she's my mini me. She's so, straight on it, like I am. But
I love that. And what you just said there about setting up. So you bring these amazing young women at this stage, amazing young women that are when they come to you, they're being defined by their experiences and their trauma, their background.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is you're showing them that you can still have those experiences and that background. Yeah. That doesn't have to define you. That doesn't have to define who you are and what value you have in society or in community or whatever. And the bit I love about what you were just saying was that it's about not trapping them. I love that word. That this is because so many times what I see is that's what happens. People trap these amazing people into their companies because they're incredible, without actually realizing that they have so much more value standing up by themselves with support to understand what that looks like and all that kind of thing. And so, I mean, collaborations, people look at Warrada and they see this huge, international company that's reaching far wide all over the place. But there's just me. But I collaborate with all these other Aboriginal businesses, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander businesses, because the same thing, I don't want to get big in the sense of this kind of big structure. I wanted to actually stay fairly small, but then co-collaborate with all these other people. And so what I see you doing is you're actually bringing these these kids in, I call them kids, young adults, bringing these young adults in and supporting them to rediscover their confidence, and then setting them free with support to go out and create change. And the great thing about that is people see their friends, their community sees these young ones getting up going, wow, I don't know who she was. You know, she was out partying, drinking, drugs, whatever. Yeah. And if she can do it, maybe I can too.
Yeah.
And that's changing community. That's healing. That's growing. That's creating economic empowerment.
Yes.
Brilliant. So brilliant. Because our communities, especially here on Kaurna country, and, you know, what I didn't say right at the start was we're actually here on Kaurna country, different parts of Kaurna country.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me as a visitor, I'm so honoured to be here. It's absolutely incredible to be able to sit here on country and feel country accept you. But yeah, what's the future hold for Winter Convention?
Yeah, because it's going really well. We just landed 12 months for DCP. We fit a gap again. If you know how to pick these gaps, do it and go for it if you can offer it. Was approached by carers in the northern region of Adelaide. They non-Indigenous carers, and I got a big heart. You know, you tell me a good story, and my head will get dragged that way, and I will look and I'll see if I can help. So I think it took about 6 months to land me, because I was just full on, and I was thinking, no, okay, all right. They ripped me in one direction. I had my full attention, so I said, okay, I can do that. I'll write this, you know, what I'll do. We've got to write it and present it. And so I said, here, I'm going to name it Minya Winders. So Minya Winders is specifically at this point for DCP Gawler region, and it's targeting the non-Indigenous carers with the Aboriginal children in care. And we're going in to start our first 10 weeks and do it with brown language, but we know we got diversity within the caring system. So Window Creations actually sat back and looked at itself. We know we're statewide already with the networks, but we also know that we've got kids that are interstate sitting here on country. And it's our duty as Aboriginal people, they're on our country, to do something. Right? So I actually opened the door and I called in. I've actually got Wodjabulok's sister, which is Western Wimmera, which is one of my lineages. I can stretch over the border through my mother. Is that she's come in, and then we noticed that there's kids that's from that country. So she's able to speak language from that area. So we're able to bring our tongues from different, you know, Aboriginal English is a recognised language in Australia, but we know we've got dialect in different areas. And if we can get that language to that kid young, like within this care system, they're going to lose their tongue if we don't. So we looked at the snake, we look at all those areas. So we packed this deadly little program, and looks like that's going to fly itself, which is going to turn more employment for our young women and our young males. Because if we're going to do a cultural program like this, our kids are growing under us, and we've also got to support these carers to start speaking like us, language and learning. So what we thought was our first term will be language song. So we're all singing together, and that language becomes a flow right through the whole program throughout the year. But this will be our set project for the first 10 weeks to get that language and Aboriginal English in the homes. So yeah, it's growing very fast. Also got contracts with you know, outback country. So I'm doing remote and regional stuff. Finally got admin, so I can get a little bit of leeway to get out there. And yeah, I think Minya Winders is the one that's scaring me as well, because as soon as I posted that up, it just got inundated with information. So we're at the moment, it's sitting here with me and building. and next week will be when I launch it and put it up for everyone to see. So
yeah, because I think what's so important is that, I mean, the non-Indigenous carers have got beautiful hearts. They're taking our kids on because there's no one else to take them on at this stage in the system. But they don't know what they don't know.
That's right.
Then our children, because they're normally very young when they go into these systems, our children are growing up, and it's like a second stolen generation. They're losing, or not losing. They're not being exposed to, as best as these carers are trying, they're not being exposed to the language from where they're from. None of that. I mean, I remember working with a really young girl. I won't say where she's from. And as soon as I started, I knew some of that language. And as soon as I started using some of those words from her language, she started copying me and then showing me books that she'd bring to talk about, even wanted me to read the story in her language, because she and moving around the bush tucker garden and trying local foods, and then just wanting to tell everybody about, the bush lolly she tried and all these kinds of things, because she didn't have access to that. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're creating a space where these children, our children, can learn while they're in these other spaces, and without any blame. It's just, hey, our kids need this. They're going to have to walk in two worlds regardless. Yeah. And raising them as non-Indigenous, because that's what we know, is not going to skill them for what they need. Yeah, sorry, sis. No,
you're right. No, I just thought there was a comment made. I got, and it made me pulled my strings, and it said, like, this little fellow, he jumps in the car and he goes, "Mum, thank you for taking me there." And she goes, "Oh, what? That's okay, bub," because then Mum been his non-Indigenous carer since birth, and because I got to play with people that look like me, and that just hit home. And then, you're teaching a carer that got a first cousin to another boy, and you're teaching kinship. And do you understand the connection outside of this needs to be continuous, because these two are actually blood brothers in our culture, and to share this knowledge. And I think it's going to be a good one. We did our 3 trial, and they're just keen to, it looks like it's going to go where it needs to go, where they want us to go. So
I can see you getting very, very busy.
The smart thing about it is that I knew I am busy. I can't do it, so we've got a teacher and 2 youth workers packing it together. 3 beautiful, strong sisters in Adelaide that's willing to take this out hours and strengthen it, and they work, and they also do this after hours. So, I'm not silly I'm not going to run everything. I do have a network of people that I could tap on and get in. I've already actually approached many already, knowing future stuff is coming, just to be ready. This may happen. So they're excited, and it's being smarter and around it. The insurances, everything you've got to look at it. I expanded within just like that, and I'm very scared. So I need to be very smart about how it goes forward, because I know I can't do it all.
Yeah, and that's it.
It's why the counter contracts and the sister girls in business is a perfect network.
Absolutely, yeah.
And everyone gets work, and that's how it works. So
and yes, everyone gets work, and that's the key. That's the reciprocity. Yeah. It's not holding it all to you. No. It's going, actually, I think you need to contact this person. Yeah. Or actually, I know I could do this by myself, but I actually want to bring someone else in with me, because I know that the skill level that they're going to get from doing that then the next time you can contact them. Because as you said, we can't do it all ourselves.
No. We're not, I mean, we are superwomen in what we do, but go on, we're not. We can't take it all. And I believe that, you know, the space is there and there's enough for everybody. And there's no need to be that, you know, that patchy kind of person. And given my background being Narungga, Ngadjuri, Rammindjeri, you name it, I'm connected from border to border here. And when I do go step over into those patches, I'm mindful and I'm respectful of who's already there. And I'll tap a sister and say, I'm coming up. You know, any of my knowledge? You want the bush rub recipe to start this stuff over here? Do you want to, you know, collaborate on any project? So that's just what you do. I mean, it's cultural process and protocol through our business as well. I mean, we're going over. If I'm going to Sejina, I know I'm going to head there. So I'm going to scout who's there. And I'm going to say, sister or auntie, do you want to do a workshop for us? Because it's, why would I want to go out there? They make deadly bush medicine there. So why would I take bush medicine there?
They do. I know. I've got quite a few. Every place I go, I bring bush medicine home. I've got just by my desk. I've got Bindamai from Broome, which is Boab. It's a jiggle ointment. I've got King's Narrative from Alice Springs, just on my desk. So, I've got, you know, WA.
Hey, that's why the skin is so good. Look, see?
Oh, yeah. That's it. Absolutely, we need to get. That's it.
Not too much because you end up getting long hair on your face because it's that good.
I use Barani Health from Willis Natural Medicine Centre. Her Kakadu plum and all this kind of thing. The Gubbinge skin care, because it's just magic. It just feels awesome. But yeah, so that's and it's about supporting businesses. So when you use their product and you bring those things into what you're doing, then you're supporting local businesses. And the products are just awesome anyway. So why not use them?
That's right.
But, yeah, absolutely. So probably what I do want to ask you is how you balance this, because, you know, I know myself, you can be incredibly passionate about everything that you do, and it doesn't feel like you're working, but you are having this high output. You are doing all this stuff. So how do you balance? Because you know what, the need in our communities is so huge. You could literally do this 7 days a week, and I pretty much do, but 7 days a week from early in the morning till late at night and run yourself to the ground. So what does balance look like for you?
Well, I ran myself to the ground, so I had to work out a balance. So I know I play softball on Saturdays. I give my Saturdays and Sundays to me. I used to work 7 days continuously. I get phone calls still on the weekend. Balance it out. I go on country. I've got a ground. I've got to go to the beach. And isolation. And when I go into isolation, I think that's my best time. That's when other things get created, I guess. But I allow myself to go into isolation. So if I'm doing a 4-week run and I know I'll give a week off and I'll go and lay down. I'll go on country and I'll go lay down. I'm flexible in what I do. I'm not stuck to any place. So I allowed my flexibility. I don't have children of my own. I have helped bring up many, many, many children. And they all call me mum when they want money, that's for sure. That's my little joke for them. But I'm so flexible. I could do work in the mid-north. So for some reason, I was in 1 week, I was in Clare one day. The next day I'm on the Yorks, and then the next day I'm in Adelaide, down the south, Goolwa. So that's the type of week I could have, and it's okay because I've got that little flexible little car. But yeah, this year to really balance it, I had to strip that back schedule, and I had to get admin, someone else, the PA, kind of a little bit beside me, and then softball because I like sports. That's the other side. So softball keeps, get smacked those balls on a Saturday. It's good for release, and yeah, that's my counterbalance. But I know that on country and going for long travels as well is another way, and that's one parts of the year then go for a cruise.
And all that thinking that can be done when you're on that road that just goes on and on and on, and you can just not switch off, but you can allow your mind to be creative and really just travel where it needs to while you're doing that. And I 100% agree with the on country and the isolation. I'm always told by my daughter, you should go out with friends and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm done talking to people. I just want to be really quiet, and I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to shut everyone away.
I notice I did because I give so much in my energy, and my energy needs to get back to that level. We're very strong empaths. We feel everyone's stuff being Aboriginal, and I deal with it. I mean, I reckon I've met over 200 kids last year, and 100 people. I mean, I didn't want it. I didn't even want Christmas with family. I just needed the time with my dog, and that's what I gave myself for 3 weeks with my dog. So people think, when you get into business, you kind of have to change not change who you become who you're meant to be. I think you stop doing the stupid things to wanting to fit in somewhere else, when actually I don't fit in anywhere. I'm happy being who I am now, and I'm just thriving in it. And everything I decide to do is become what it is. And I don't need to stand up there and scream, hey, look at me, my work will prove it for myself. To be humble in it, and just it'll just get there. You've got that respect too. I noticed I've got a lot more respect, and I know that I'm going to collaborate with a couple other beautiful women out there that are in the arts and areas. So that's the other talks. And besides it, although I've got enough work, and I say I've got enough work if I wanted to just sit back and look after me, but I don't. I find I got this thing to look after these mob too. These girls have rode with me for the last, and I've built this, so I have to keep this running, and I love it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it.
Absolutely. And I think because you have a choice, don't we? When we're not working for someone, we have a choice. Do we want to do that, or do we not want to do that?
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I love what you said about that we give so much of our energy that we actually do need those quiet times, those periods of isolation. I mean, I pretty much do that every day, because for the same reason. I walk with the dogs out on country, and I put headsets in. I think people miss so much, and I'm listening to the birds, and I'm just walking with the dogs, and it makes my mind calm. Because, and then same thing at night, I just shut myself off, because I just need to, and that's okay. And I love that that's okay. And I love everything that you're doing. So I'm going to ask you the last question, and there's so much gold what you've shared throughout today that I think would really help community, people that are struggling with feeling trapped in it with an employer, whoever that is, government or whatever, and also the just communicating what you need and being unapologetic about that. Like you said, family, Christmas, literally, I can't do it this year. I need to step back. Love all of that, bringing community up with you. So the last question is, if we took all the labels away and all the entrepreneurial personas, all the Winder creations and Minya Winder and all this kind of thing, if we took all that away, who really is Violet Buckskin?
Who I am.
So not what you do, who are you really?
I'm just a traveller that's done so much travelling that I'm just coming home to share it. That's all. And I'm here to put a light in some people's eyes, because I believe people don't see their worth. And all I can do is just say, sis, you know what you are, who you are. And just giving that little bits here and there just is enough. But I'm a traveller pretty much, and I've just come home. I mean, my drive I've always found is that, you can learn so much. You can think you know what you know about Narungga. I don't know everything about Narungga. I know a lot more about Puna. I know more about Wirangu. I want to revive, and that's who I am. I'm bringing back Narungga art and their stories, and it's just re-triggering, just telling people, this is who we are and what we're meant to be.
Yeah, and I felt so teary, that statement, I'm a traveller and I'm coming home and I'm bringing back what I've learned back to community. That is the essence of who you are and why you're so successful. That's the important part of life, just actually understanding who you are and what you bring to the world. That's cool. And it's always about giving back.
Because I've been to the depths of hell. My mind's been twisted.
Yeah.
We've been through the system because we're living in something that's not supposed to be us. And we just got to get back to who we are. And that is healing. As soon as we figure out what we're meant, who we are, and just knowing that little bit of knowledge of the country, our mothers, our grandmothers, lineages, is enough to start that journey of really figuring out what we're meant to be. And we're meant to be strong Black women. We lead our communities. We are the backbones of our community. And if it's not for us, Jesus, come on. These blokes, we're to get up. We'll straighten them out, some of them, because we love our brothers and uncles and aunts. And I'll tell you, I'm not a separatist, but I'm here because we got women's business too. And we need to be respected. And us women deserve that respect.
In our strength and our knowledge.
That's right.
Sitting in that and not being squashed down because Western society sees this as a patriarchal system, we are knowledge holders, knowledge keepers.
And until they realise women and men are equal in our culture, and we both hold our responsibility. Until you know what responsibility you have as a woman, you'll be a bit here or there, but eventually people just wake up. So that's where I'm at. So I'm happy where I'm at.
So much. And you're obviously in the right space, because one, you can feel how you're feeling, but also you're creating community change, and you're successful in your way of being successful. And that's beyond amazing. So thank you, hugest thank you, Violet, for being on this podcast and for sharing your knowledge and wisdom and passion and joy and a tiny snippet of your story, moving from, as you said, the depths of hell to this strong, incredible woman that's bringing community with her. So thank you. And you mob that are listening, if you're not already following Winder Creations website, go there, because there is absolute gold on that site, and you'll learn so much more about Violet's story and what she's trying to do in community. So thank you, Violet. And it's strange, Violet, sis. Thanks, sis. It's much more natural.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, I can't wait to see what Winter Creations is going to do.
Me too. I don't know. Flying everywhere. That's what we're doing. We're just flying.
Absolutely, and that's why. And your logo is now.
Yeah, there's
which
a
is
big
funny
meaning behind that. So, and it's a dreaming story too, Winda. Yeah.
Yeah, deadly. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me, sis. It's been deadly having a yarn. I don't really talk about myself much, so it's good
yeah, and I think this is why it's so important that we do have these yarns.
It is
because we're so busy doing and creating change and doing all these incredible things that we forget that actually people want to hear about us.
Yeah. Strange, I don't really talk about myself, I just pick up my, young fellas and run. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. Deadly. Thank you.
Like you.